Hi there, welcome to Urban Rider for the latest instalment in our staff pick series. We're here back at the shop temporarily, which is, I suppose, a sort of home from home of our next subject. Someone you're very familiar with, the charismatic, charming, handsome,
tall,
not so much, member of our YouTube channel. Tim, we're going to head outside, check your bike out so we can frame all the gear you're going to take us through. You probably know more than anything about the gear lately, being the one that goes through it in detail every day. Yeah, without further ado, let's go out, see your bike.
Let's head on. I'll make you a coffee, let's go.
Oh, thank you. What service? So this is it. This is your new pride and joy.
Yeah, this is the latest offering, the weapon of choice. It is a tank on wheels, essentially, and something that I can carry heavy equipment with and clothing and everything else with my really aesthetically pleasing top box on the back that for photos definitely comes off. But honestly, it's a game changer in terms of actually being able to bring stuff with me.
And you've kind of left off the side panniers. Is that so that you can actually get through traffic and not be a nuisance
Hell yeah,
to society?
have you tried that before? It's a nightmare. But usually this is probably enough to bring out with me. You can fit a full helmet in there. In fact, I will show you what I've got in my top box. Normally it's a lock for London, which is always handy as well. But on this particular occasion, it has my helmet.
So regular viewers are probably going to notice that this isn't a Ducati Scrambler that you did have. So why the change?
So regular viewers might also know that I have a YouTube channel that I review bikes on, and as a result change pretty frequently. So I had a Ducati Scrambler when I started that Brett very kindly put a chip in the tank for me within about 2 weeks of having it, which made me so happy. And then I had a MOTO V9, I think was the next one. And then obviously I changed to this.
So you're enjoying this one more than the one you had before?
That's a tough one.
Very different.
For distance, and that's the other biggest thing really, the V9 is not made for sitting on a motorway, I found, to my discomfort regularly. This thing doesn't really care if you want to sit on a motorway for 4 hours. And I've never really been a big fan. I did stave off the pull of dad bikes for as long as I possibly could, and then unfortunately succumbed to it. One of the reasons was they're a bit tall, a bit heavy, they're intimidating. I've found since using this one that they're not that intimidating and not that heavy really when you get to live with them a bit longer. And because I thought that the majority of them are, in my eyes, ugly. I'm sorry to say it if I offend anyone out there, but this is probably one of the bikes in the adventure category that I think actually does look quite nice. But,
you're actually going to use this properly as it was intended? Like, what adventures have you got planned?
Not to rub it in, but my stepdad has a farm, so I'm one of the rare people that actually has a playground to actually go and use this on in the right setting. So absolutely at some point I will use this.
Oh, I look forward to the invite then.
To be fair, your bike's probably as well suited to that as mine is, because you've got the Ducati Scrambler, haven't you?
Well, we'll find out which one's better off-road. Should we find out which one sounds better, or are we not going to enter that contest today?
Just to set myself up for failure early doors, you'll notice it's got a stock exhaust and we're on a busy street. So if you can actually hear that exhaust...
He's making the excuses thick and fast, isn't he?
For a stock exhaust though, right?
Okay, no, that's pretty good for a stock. I'll allow it, yeah.
I don't think I win the competition, but I'm at least in the running, right? I think the nice thing is I get to hand over the reins to you.
I can't take that. Right, so Tim, let's dive into your gear. So your preferred method is sort of head to toe, I believe. So kick us off with, I guess, helmet.
Yeah.
Unless you have anything on top of that.
No, not yet. We'll see. We'll see. So yeah, let's start with my practical lid. This is the ARAI RAPIDE, if you've never seen it before. I particularly like this one. There were certain considerations to have had.
Yeah, I suppose the sort of ARAI showy is the big thing that people always wonder. So you're one of the ones in the office with the ARAI. So as a sort of vlogging is one of the things that drove that decision.
Pretty much, yeah. I could have made the other one work, let's be fair. But this one has closable vents, which was the big difference over the showy for me. It's a little bit more cosseted, I would say. It works really well as far as like keeping you warm in the winter, which again is kind of essential. But the vents work really well in cooling you down in the summer because you've got these two on the visor there, which go over the top of the head. The big addition for me, there's actually two, which was the tinted visor, because something that they don't offer, but I wish they would, is a drop-down sun visor. But they don't do that on any of their helmets, as far as I'm aware, because of safety reasons, they say. But every 6 months, basically, it just means that I switch either from my summer visor, which unfortunately also means that I can't ride it at night. I would need to change it back. The difficulty is that it is a little bit fiddly to change visors. And the other thing was cheek pads, because my head fits a large best, but my cheeks fit a medium best. So I basically upgraded my helmet to make it fit my whole face a little bit better, which I would probably recommend with any helmet that offers changeable cheek pieces.
Yeah, I think you get that option on the Shoei as well.
Lawrence.
Question. Lawrence.
Can you change cheek pieces on the Shoei?
Yes.
Thank you. But yeah, for me, considering any helmet, I like to know that I can tailor the cheek, unless it just fits straight out of the box, which is quite a rare thing.
Solid choice. So what's your sort of less practical option then, if this is your practical one?
Yeah, my less practical but very stylish helmet is the BYCITY The Rock.
Big fan.
I've always liked the looks of the Moto 3 or the Shoei X0, but this one is the one that won out because it has a little bit extra style. It is, I think I'm right in saying, lighter than both of those as well.
I mean, it's ridiculously lightweight, isn't it? Yeah,
it's crazy lightweight and obviously very comfortable on. And I've not had one of these before. It's
this sort of style.
This style, motocross helmet, even though I like the look of them.
Yeah, yeah. The thing with this helmet in particular that just is wonderful is that it really does seem to be one of those rare universal fits. Just seems to fit everybody, and because it's so lightweight as well, it's a pretty sort of safe bet if you're into this sort of thing. And obviously you can get the full-size goggles, being the BARSTOW ones.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, really big opening on the front, so you can get. It doesn't matter what goggles you're going to go for, you know they're going to fit it. So the BARSTOW Telluride fit in here, really.
Which I think we've plugged on pretty much every single video that we've done in the Staff Picks category so far. They are really nice goggles.
Yeah.
Where are we next? Are we going down to jackets?
Yeah, let's go torso.
So we're going practical first, or are we're going sort of...
Yeah, let's go. To be fair, both my jackets are practical.
One's not. Getting hot water.
So my other purchase early doors was a BELSTAFF jacket, which I've always wanted, and just, I guess being around them a lot more gave me the chance to try on a few more of them, make sure it was the right fit, look at myself in the mirror once or twice, and decide that I really do want one. So I got the BELSTAFF BROOKLANDS, which to me is one of the most iconic shapes that they do. I think this and the Trialmaster, probably.
Yeah, they're
two of the ones that stand out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they've been going forever. They sort of update them according with CE changes and stuff like that. So yours is one of the later ones, isn't it?
Yes.
With the waterproofing.
Yes. So and the fabric changed as well, which still has the same feel. Still got that waxed cotton feel, but obviously it's brought up to date with safety standards and things like that, which is important.
Yeah, and then there's also, I mean, we'd all change the price point ideally, wouldn't we? Because BELSTAFF, everyone knows, is at the top of that pricing spectrum. But you've got one, I've got one. There is something about them that's quite difficult to convey in our videos. That's down to that fit and feel when you put them on. Sort of special factor, I suppose.
If you try it on, you wear it a little bit longer. Live with it, most importantly. You know where the money's gone. It's a special, not everyday jacket, even though it's my everyday jacket.
Yeah, well, same with me. I was sort of using the leather one that we did in my video.
Exactly,
So on to the alternative, I suppose.
Alternative. So it's a new one for me. This is the Merlin Drifter. And I've seen loads of things from Merlin where you're like, oh yeah, maybe I'll get that. This was the one that made me sort of pull the trigger and get. I guess because of the practicalities to it, but also the style combined, it just fit me. You know, when you just know it's the right jacket.
Is it because it's from the Explore collection and you just got yourself your Africa tape? Is that what's holding it?
I think a lot of the jackets and offerings would work on my bike, to be fair. But yeah, let's go with that. I quite like the fact that it looks and feels textile, because it looks that way in the right kind of way. Like I say, it is lightweight. It is also fully waterproof. If you close all of the vents, of which it has many, you can actually be quite warm and comfortable in that.
So this is a drop liner versus a laminated membrane, right?
Yes.
This one, yeah.
It is.
No, just checking, because obviously like waterproof, like the ultimate is having a laminated membrane.
Yeah.
So if you're going somewhere really, really hardcore,
yes,
I guess that would be ideal. But this one is a very, very good balance because being Merlin as well, the price is so good.
Definitely, yeah. No, and that's the other thing that's really good about it is you get all of this at a much more palatable price point. You know, if your budget's stretched a little bit, but you need multiple jackets, you can either go for like one more expensive one that lasts you for everything you do, which is what I did initially. But then when you find you need more options and variants, then it's nice that they come in at slightly lower prices because you can have more jackets.
Cool. Where are we going next? We going gloves? Or we going trousers?
Let's go gloves. Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
does.
Your hands are connected to your arms. So first, I'm going to call them out as not practical gloves, and these would be my summer gloves.
You grab one, I'll grab one.
Sure. So I like these a lot because they are as lightweight as they are. These are the HELSTONS CONDOR, and they are as simple as it gets for a leather glove.
Yeah, sometimes the ones that don't have any of the knuckle protection that are more simple, they almost kind of take the view of people don't care then, let's just make it so lightweight that you sort of do wonder whether it would work. Whereas these ones are simple and refined, but they actually, you know, the leather feels like a decent quality, stitching looks sound, and well, HELSTONS, you know, HELSTONS are known for their leather, so you know, you'd expect no less.
So I like the lightweight. There is one thing I would call them out on, and I find this on a few different gloves, which is the stitching on the thumb. You can feel against the bar a little bit, so you have to kind of rotate the thumb around a little bit so it's not in the way, but that's the only problem I've got with these at all.
And then the sort of, well, what are the gloves that you dread putting on in the winter then?
I dread less and less because I actually went for something as light as I could. I went back and forth looking at loads of gloves, knew I wanted something fairly affordable because it was second gloves, third gloves, to be fair, probably like fourth gloves that I've got. And I knew I wanted it to be waterproof and obviously warm without too much padding because I've got heated grips on my new bike, which is nice.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. So yeah, I went with the REVIT. I think they're called the Crater 2. I know they're called the Crater 2.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because they don't actually stock this one, or at least we don't have it anymore, but we've got some that are so similar. Yours, in fact.
Yeah, I thought they were the Hydra 2s, which they are almost identical to. So there's this
Basically the same
mini range of them, aren't there? They're all very similar. They're all fantastic.
Yeah. So you need waterproofing, you need something that's comfortable. That's what I went with. You've got lots of knuckle armor on there, a little bit of sort of padding, soft padding on your palm.
Well, the interesting thing is that, like me, you've also gone for this sort of short cuff winter glove, which isn't traditional in a sense. You know, most of the winter gloves you see are the big, long gauntlet ones.
And I took that from you, in fact, because I had the big gauntlet ones, and then I saw one of your videos, fair enough, without blowing any smoke, and I went, oh yeah, it does make sense to have short cuffs because you can get it under the jackets. It's just nicer to live with. So that's why I went with it.
Certainly the numbers speak for themselves. So these seem to be very popular for, I guess, there's no doubt if you are going out of town, you're doing big rides, you'd still want the longer ones, but for us, these are great.
Yep. What limb do you want next?
I was hoping you were going to tell me what's happening.
I
guess we're going trousers.
Yeah, let's do trousers. So, first one on this list, they went with the Merlin Drifter jacket when I took it up to Enfield again, and these are the Fuel MARSHAL, I believe is the name of these. They're quite high-waisted. They're a little bit thicker. So
what's the rating on these ones? Because they are definitely a bit thicker. Yeah.
Yeah. So they go with the Sergeant. It's quite similar.
Yeah.
And the Sergeant to me look nicer.
The Sergeant's AA, I think.
They've gone up.
No, sorry, they've gone up to AAA.
Yeah, so they went up to AAA recently because of the fabric change. So the reason these are in the same sort of bracket is because they use the same Fuel 3-core fabric, I think is the name for it officially. But this is their new fabric, which is AAA rated. Took them with me on the day, and they really grew on me in terms of style. I thought I looked a little bit showy. I'm just going to call it. I was the best dressed person there. I was told by several people. But practically speaking, especially for now when it's starting to get a little bit colder, I like the fact that they're thicker. They've got really big armor pockets on them. So knee armor, hip armor, covers so much of your knee, so you don't have to fiddle around getting it in the right spot. Has a side zip entry, which makes it easy to get in and out. You've got these flexible little sections on there, and I think they look good. I love the color as well.
Yeah, so would you get these over the Sergeants?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Because I mean, that's our, that is our big bestseller. So yeah,
I think I prefer these to the Sergeants, myself personally. But they do fit different categories slightly, I would say, even though they've got similarities.
Yeah, it's a nice colour, really nice colour.
Yeah. Sometimes a lot of the stuff offered is black, dark colours, and you're like, yeah, it's okay, but, every now and then you want a little bit of a flash colour.
So I'm presuming on that basis, we're now going on to something that is most definitely black as an alternative.
Oh, no. They do it in black, I think. No, the alternative for trousers were the Pando Moto Mark Kev, I want to say.
Yeah, this is the problem with Pando, isn't it? They're the best products in the jean category. I love them. I love the fit, as you know. Yeah. But their names, they're just so hard to remember.
It's really hard. I learned recently that the numbers don't even necessarily mean like a new iteration. Sometimes it's just a different colour. But these are, I think, my favourite trousers that I own for the bike at the moment. Does this mean
I'm winning in our Pando versus John Doe showdown?
Yeah, I think you actually are. Yeah, because I really like John Doe, but there was just something... you do the review, unless you've lived with it for a couple of months, and I put these on, wore them for a few more months, and I was like, oh, God damn it. It's got a point.
Again, it's back to what we were saying about the belts. It's just the fit, the way they feel. Yeah. It's just like, I'd pay really good money for these as a fashion trouser, and, they happen to be protective too. So yeah.
These are also not single layer, they're multi-layer. The outer fabric is also it's Cordura, I think, on this one, but it's, you know, abrasion resistant or tough in its own right. The cargo option I quite like because you've got extra storage, but I think that cargo trousers like this, when mixed with bigger boots and stuff, look really good. The Sastec Armour, I think, is one of the most comfortable. There was again a debate, if you like, as to what would be more protective or impact absorbing.
Well, it's difficult from our point of view, isn't it? Because all we know is that it's passed the same test, the same standard, but,
but
one
there'll be
feels like it would be
more comfy. It's a threshold, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, there's a range in there somewhere, a spectrum, if you like. So you don't know if it's on the furthest reach.
That whole like in a lab versus on your knee in a real world.
All of that.
But yeah.
But if you're more likely to have it in your trousers more often, then ultimately it's safer than the one that might sit on a shelf because it's less comfortable.
Great choice. Is that trousers done? Or are we on
Yep.
to... Excellent. So what's up next? Boots now.
Yep, let's go for shoes. So let's go for the urban smaller shoes to start with. These are the REVIT Arrow.
I love these.
Do you like them?
Yeah, I really, really love these.
So these I've had for about 6 months, but heavy usage. And I would say they look pretty good.
They look really good. I wondered if you just take them out for the video, to be honest.
No.
Great, yeah.
So 6 months, but like I say, heavy usage. I think the good test for any trainer or urban style shoe is, do you wear it when you're not riding? And I do. If I'm just out and if I'm out with the wife, which is weird to say.
Congratulations,
recent
by the
wife,
way.
not girlfriend. Yeah, thank you
Had
very
to slip
much.
that in there, didn't you?
But if I'm out with the...
Have you got your ring back yet?
I did, yeah.
Keeps leaving around the office.
Please don't call me out on that. She'd break my neck. Yeah, so if you wear these out, and we actually just went on a little bit of a holiday recently, funny enough, mini moon recently, and I took these with me as my go-to trainer because they were the most stylish and best looking and comfortable shoe that I own. So I wore these even though I was nowhere near a motorbike, which to me says that it is a shoe that I like a lot. And it's got all the reinforcement you need anyway.
Sort of relatively flexible.
Yeah.
Which is good. Sometimes these feel just really, really stiff, don't they?
Yeah.
But no, I love the look of the arrows. They're fantastic.
So my other boots are more practical. So these are the STYLMARTIN Matrixes, which Lauren's explained already. I bought them because of Lauren's. You can take that one as a little win, mate. Yeah.
You're welcome, mate.
I'm pretty sure I told him to get them, so I'll take credit.
Well, I did to confirm my choice. I watched your review, obviously, of these instead. But no, the reason I really like these is because, as I might have already mentioned, I've got an adventure bike. But before I got that, I went on a Honda off-road day, and I didn't have any boots that were appropriate in any way, shape, or form. So I needed some taller boots with reinforcement and stuff like that. And there were a few different ones I considered, but these just ticked all the boxes. Because like I say, they are very pretty, they're waterproof, and they've got shin protection, they've got actually protection down the side of your leg. So you've got that in there. You've got buckles that you can tighten around your ankles so that you don't roll an ankle as easily. You've got toe, heel, reinforced footbed. And the other thing is, I don't know that I would necessarily put the toe plates on if I wasn't going off-road.
Do you find yourself sometimes sort of putting your foot down at the lights and then skidding?
Slippy, yeah.
Yeah, I've got the same. Well, not the same boots, but same thing. But you kind of get used to it, and it's quite fun to actually sort of scoot along.
You do.
Feel like you're on one of the flat track days, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or if you're just walking around, you get off the bike and stuff like that. You do that sort of like snowboarding boots walk, and your toes are slipping around.
You clink along like a cowboy, and you feel really cool.
Clink, yeah. But no, I love these absolutely. One of my favourite pieces of clothing to wear.
So accessories.
Yeah.
I believe we are onto backpacks.
Yeah. So we'll go for backpack first. Everyone needs one, even if you don't use it as much anymore. I have a top box now, which I just shove this in, and I love it. But when I didn't have that, and when I'm borrowing bikes, which I still do frequently, I need some form of storage. You need a backpack.
But do you not feel naked without your backpack now? No. I can't do it. I literally cannot drive that backpack. I actually just take it on a journey if I don't have anything in it, just because I feel weird.
I do sometimes appreciate one in the winter when you're riding, because it sort of insulates you just that like little bit more.
Like a hug.
Yeah, like a hug from behind, and sometimes you feel lonely on those long rides. So this I've had for a very long time. This I got before I ever came to Urban Rider. Waterproofing was the most important thing for my bag, which of course this has.
The other thing that I like about this bag is that a lot of bags that are clearly designed to take things like laptops that have specific compartments have absolutely no padding at the bottom.
Yeah, true.
And it's so annoying because you put it in the bag, you think, oh, it's all protected. You just put it down on the floor and you hear this crunch. Like, So this has got a very nice, robust sort
it does.
What do you call it?
On the
like
bottom as well.
A bash plate. And then we are on to...
We're on to the accessories. So this is the BEELINE. We've talked about this extensively. I like it because prior to this, I quite like Kappa races anyway, but I had a Moto Guzzi V7, things like that. So it's nice when you can go also minimalist with your sat nav rather than a big bulky thing on there.
Is the BEELINE one of those things that if you hadn't kind of been, asked to do a review on it, you probably wouldn't have known about. But it's sort of, you're like, now how do I not live with this thing?
I'd seen it, but I don't know whether I would have got it myself until I bought it, or and we lived with it, using it, and then you get to see the value of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would have been a tough one, because otherwise I would just go to headphones and things like that. But I think it's just nice to have an arrow to follow. A lot easier. I like it. It's got good battery life, and and the app is constantly improving as well. It's something else that's really good, is that they keep improving the app where they need to. So this is the other bit of tech that I cannot live without. Didn't get for a long while. Since having it, can't go back. So it sort of spoiled me to a certain degree. Is an intercom system, which is another one of those things where you look at it and you're like, do I really need it? Is it going to make that much of a difference to my riding? Yes, is the answer, undoubtedly so. If I'm riding solo, I've got music or podcasts or sat-nav that I can put through this as needed. So obviously you can still hear external noise, which is good. I think if you go for earplugs, as good as those can be, one, they're fiddly to get in your helmet. They end up falling out and you end up cursing. Two, they dampen off the external noise a little bit too much, I would argue, where you might need to hear car horns and things around you. And this gives you a bit more spatial awareness, I think, for that. But the biggest thing and most impressive thing is the noise cancelling on the microphone. Honest to God, it's witchcraft. Because the first test, in fact, I had my Ducati Scrambler at the time, which had a MIV exhaust on it, which was basically just like an open exhaust. And I rang my mum to test it. She, honest to God, couldn't hear it. Genuinely could not hear the exhaust. I've listened to it back as well because I recorded it on her phone. And you cannot hear the sound of the exhaust until you rev it or it changes the frequency slightly.
The thing is, I don't know what the quality's like, because I haven't had a phone conversation with someone. It's just been me wearing it. So I have to go by what you or Dad say as far as the quality of what you can hear. And he said the same thing. He said he can't even hear the bike. The bike is running right now, and obviously I've got a loud exhaust. That's ridiculous, because it's so loud.
Presumably that's got massive positive benefits for when you're doing rider to rider.
Yeah,
as well.
That too. Yeah, of course, yeah. So that is enough for me to say. I think they've come on a long way. I think if I'd got an intercom system a few years ago, I wouldn't have had the same experience that I have with this one. I think that I got it at the right time.
Well, that's the one I had was just, it was slightly fiddly and it was really annoying because it used to sort of have bugs and stuff.
Right.
And the buttons were hard to use. Looking at this, I love the look of those buttons.
It's great.
They just look really, really idiot-proof.
It's really slimline on the helmet. It is one of the most slimline headsets that you will get. Obviously, it's got an external battery. That's part of it. The only thing I would say would be useful is if you could take it off and charge it remote of your helmet, because otherwise you've got to plug the helmet in. The biggest thing for me, though, and they do a few different ones, they need to have mesh connectivity to make it the most useful if you're going to do helmet-to-helmet, rider-to-rider. Because I know, again, on older intercoms, of which I don't have experience with, the Bluetooth would sometimes drop out if you are too far from each other. So generally it's line of sight, but it's got a good range on it. If you go too far, the Bluetooth used to drop out, and then you would have to resync when you join them again. As long as your intercom says that it has mesh connectivity, it means that it is so robust, if you're back within range, it will automatically sync back up and you don't have to do anything, you're just chatting. So I think for anyone considering them, there are loads that you can choose from, but I think that's what I would go for. Unless, of course, you're just doing you and your passenger, if you're going to do pillion, in which case go for Bluetooth because you're all, the same distance. It's not that you're going to be further apart, hopefully, unless you've lost them. And it'd be useful for them to tell you that they're off the back.
Well, I mean, a fantastic, very well-considered run through. And you probably know more about most of the up-to-date gear than anyone in the business at the minute. So, begs the question, now that you have your new bike, which you mentioned once or twice, does this all remain relevant, or are you going to justify a complete outfit change?
It all remains relevant, but yeah, I'll keep buying some stuff, I think. But I've got a pretty comprehensive kit. I don't think there's anything necessarily that I would need to upgrade my gear. It's just when you see stuff and you kind of see it too many times and can't resist buying something else that you probably don't need and will get told that you don't need by your partner.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time. I'm going to now retreat from my duties and firmly leave you back in charge of doing all the presenting on these videos. Tim, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
And everyone will see you very soon.
See you soon.
Cheers. Bye.
Well, good. How was that? Painless?
Yeah, it was all right. I probably flowed a bit better, as always, as you kind of get into it.
Yeah, it's surprisingly hard being on the other side of it and being interviewed. I think actually I prefer being the one asking the questions.